It used to be simple. You needed paper towels, you went to Walmart, you picked up toothpaste at CVS, maybe grabbed a cheap toy for your kid. You swung by Dollar Tree for snacks before payday. And if you had a little extra, you walked through Macy's, touched the fabrics, dreamed a little. Maybe you didn't always buy, but you belonged there. Now, that belonging is gone, and the stores are going with it. Walmart, CVS, Dollar Tree, Target, Macy's, 5 pillars of American retail. Crumbling, not because they're broke, but because you are. They're not dying from a lack of money. They're evolving into something else. Something colder, more exclusive, less human. And in that transformation, they're abandoning the very people who made them what they are. Working class families, retirees, single moms, gig workers, minimum wage earners, the backbone of American commerce. Let's call it what it is, a retail divorce. A quiet, ruthless separation of everyday people from a marketplace they helped build. And it's happening right now. 1. Walmart, retreating from the poor. Walmart was once a lifeline. Open late, prices low, shelves full. It didn't matter if you were broke. You could still walk out with groceries, shoes for your kids, even a TV if you saved up long enough. It was the unofficial town square for rural and small-town America. Now, Walmart is walking away from the very communities it promised to serve. Store closures in low-income areas aren't strategic. They're surgical. They cut right through neighborhoods already gasping for basic access. Whole towns are waking up to find their nearest Walmart boarded up, their pharmacy gone, their only source of fresh produce miles away. You think this is about crime? Theft? Efficiency? No, it's about profitability. Because once your town isn't lucrative enough, Walmart leaves. And what it leaves behind is a retail desert, a place where groceries are a 40-minute drive, where diapers cost double at the local gas station, where prescriptions now require bus transfers and time off work. Walmart is still here for the people who shop with apps, who pay full price, who live in zip codes that perform. Everyone else? You're out. 2. CVS, from community pharmacy to boutique healthcare. CVS used to be where grandma picked up her blood pressure meds and where a kid could buy a candy bar with change. A place of familiarity, of flu shots, of waiting in line while flipping through magazines. But today's CVS is not your neighborhood corner store. It's transforming into a premium health hub, which sounds nice, unless you don't have insurance, a smartphone, or a corporate wellness plan. They're closing underperforming stores, especially in lower-income communities. And the ones that remain, they're optimized. Self-checkout kiosks, facial recognition, aisles full of premium vitamins and digital blood pressure machines. Less human contact, more scanning, more tracking, more pressure to upgrade your wellness. Try finding a basic cold medicine if you're on food stamps. Try asking for help when there are only 2 employees in a 10,000 square foot store. Try feeling safe when the entire place is wild like a casino with AI cameras. CVS isn't failing. It's pivoting away from people who can't afford to get sick. And the result? People in poor areas now live farther from the nearest pharmacy than ever before. A small inconvenience? Maybe. Unless you're 70 without a car or raising 3 kids alone. Then it's a crisis. 3. Dollar Tree. A quarter that broke trust. You want to see economic collapse in real time? Walk into a Dollar Tree in 2025. It's not the same place. Not just because the aisles are half-stocked or the staff is overwhelmed, but because that sacred promise, the psychological safety of everything for $1, is gone. They broke it. Raised the price to $1.25. Seems small, right? But when you're living on fixed income or EBT, every quarter matters. That quarter is the difference between a full lunchbox and an empty one. It's the difference between getting 7 things or 5. And most importantly, it's the final straw. Because when even Dollar Tree isn't affordable, you know the system has snapped. The price change sent a deeper message. Even here, you are not safe from inflation. Even here, you are not welcome unless you can pay more. Stores are closing, especially in poor and rural areas. And the ones that remain, they've quietly raised prices again on certain items. It's no longer a place of refuge. It's a place of compromise, a place of sadness. And for many, it was the last place they could shop with dignity. Now, it's just another reminder that nothing is for you anymore. 4. Target, security over community. Target used to be the nice in-between. Not Walmart cheap, not Macy's fancy. Just enough sparkle to feel good, but not so much that you fell out of place. You could grab clothes, snacks, seasonal stuff, maybe flirt with the idea of buying a mid-range blender. But lately, something's changed. Target stores in wealthier neighborhoods are getting facelifts, sleek designs, smart carts, express lanes, app integration. Meanwhile, stores in lower-income or high-theft areas are adding exit locks, AI surveillance, undercover security, and even locking up deodorant. You walk in and immediately you feel it. You're being watched. You're not a customer. You're a risk assessment. It's subtle but devastating. Because once the store starts treating you like a suspect, you stop feeling like a shopper. You feel like a trespasser in a world that used to be yours. Target isn't closing as many stores as others, but it's changing who it serves and how it treats them. And for millions of regular people, that change feels like eviction. 5. Macy's, the fall of affordable fantasy. Macy's was always more than a store. It was aspiration. You didn't need to be rich. You just needed a dream. You could touch luxury. Smell it. Try it on. You didn't always buy. But you imagined. That mattered. Because imagination is part of the American retail experience. It's how we learn to want better, reach higher, plan for birthdays and weddings and Christmas mornings. But Macy's has lost that magic, and they know it. That's why they're closing flagships, consolidating, retreating from cities where the stores no longer perform. Their focus now? Online sales, exclusive brands, premium experiences, upscale malls. What gets left behind? The family who used to ride the escalators. The teenage girl who bought her prom dress there. The immigrant mom who saved for weeks to buy something nice. What gets left behind is us. Because once Macy's disappears, it's not just a store that's gone. It's a ritual, a dream, a shared piece of culture. And no website can replace that. What this really means. This isn't about convenience. This is about being told, over and over, at every turn, that you no longer belong. You're not profitable. You're not ideal. You're not who they're designing for anymore. And when retail abandons the poor, it's not just food and clothes they lose. It's presence, visibility, the feeling that their lives are worth designing for. And what happens when millions of people stop seeing themselves in the economy? They stop trusting it. They stop engaging. They retreat. And when they do, society suffers. Because an economy that only serves the top 20% is not sustainable. And a country where shopping becomes a battleground of class warfare is not healthy. We're not just losing stores, we're losing social fabric. But there's still power in us. This story isn't over. Because while corporations pivot and abandon, people are adapting. They're forming bulk buying clubs, carpooling to farther grocery stores, teaching each other how to use discount apps, trading goods through community forums, sharing recipes that stretch $10 across 3 days. They're turning front yards into gardens, churches into pantries, libraries into tech education hubs. Because when the market fails you, the people have to show up, and they are. But make no mistake, communities should supplement the system, not replace it. We shouldn't have to build mutual aid networks just to buy toilet paper. We shouldn't have to teach our elders how to use apps just to fill a prescription. We shouldn't be scavenging solutions while billion-dollar corporations install facial recognition to sell us shampoo. If this feels personal, it's because it is. The retail chains that once shaped American life are changing, not by accident, not out of necessity, but because they no longer need you to survive. But you still need them. Or at least, you did. And now that they're gone, you have 2 choices. Let them take your dignity with them, or stand up, organize, adapt, and remind the system. You built it. You sustained it. And you're not done yet. The store closes. Maybe it's not dramatic. Maybe there's no sign. No press release. Just empty shelves one week, a locked door the next. a handwritten notice, or worse, nothing at all. You show up to buy milk, and it's just gone. The store is dark, and it stays that way. Dust gathers on the window. The cart return is full. That place where you used to say hi to the cashier, where your kid got a lollipop once, where you stood in line after work, exhausted but okay, that place is gone. You don't just lose a building. You lose belonging. And that's what nobody talks about. We've been trained to treat shopping like a chore, a consumer act, a transaction. But for millions of Americans, it's not just about buying toothpaste. It's about being seen, about feeling part of something, about living in a world designed with you in mind. And when stores leave your neighborhood, raise prices past your limit, or fill their aisles with cold surveillance and fewer employees, you start to get the message. You are not wanted here. The psychological collapse of retail identity. In America, shopping isn't just a habit. It's a personality. It's a cultural script. You grow up associating stores with milestones. The backpack for first grade, the Halloween costume, the coat your mom put on layaway, the graduation dress, the crib, the engagement ring, the table for Thanksgiving. Retail told us who we were, who we could be. Macy's whispered luxury. Walmart promised value. Target said you could be basic but beautiful. CVS reminded us to take care of ourselves, even if just for 5 minutes between shifts. But now that script is changing. Rapidly. Brutally. Shopping used to be one of the few places where class disappeared. Even for a moment, where a single mom and a CEO could push the same red cart, eat the same frozen pizza, browse the same makeup aisle. That fragile illusion that we were all in this together is breaking. Retail chains are writing new scripts. Scripts where stores aren't designed for everyone, but for a very specific type of customer. Wealthy, tech-savvy, predictable, profitable. If you don't fit that mold, you're edited out. You walk into your old store, and it doesn't recognize you anymore. Everything feels unfamiliar, impersonal, cold. The store you once belonged in now speaks a different language. And it doesn't care if you understand. Exclusion by design. Look closer. The changes aren't just financial, they're architectural, cultural, doors that only open if you scan an app, self-checkout lanes with no help for people who can't read English well, lock cases for basic hygiene products, aisles monitored by overhead AI cameras, digital-only coupons, cash not accepted. These aren't accidents. They're choices that redefine who gets to participate. And those choices hit the same people every single time. Seniors who don't own smartphones, immigrants who struggle with digital signage, workers without bank accounts, parents who shop with kids and can't navigate high-tech systems, disabled folks who need human help, not a touchscreen. When you remove people from the shopping experience, you remove their power. They're no longer agents. They're obstacles, liabilities, loss prevention problems. It's not just exclusion, it's erasure. And that erasure is creeping, slowly, efficiently, almost invisibly, until the entire landscape of American retail is unrecognizable to the very people who built it. The disintegration of the everyday, the destruction of accessible retail doesn't just hurt your wallet, it dismantles daily life. Think about what disappears when the local store shutters, a place to meet neighbors, a source of fresh produce, a last-minute gift for a birthday party, a friendly face when you're lonely, a safe space for teens after school, a job for someone who couldn't find one anywhere else. Retail was never just about buying things. It was about staying connected to life, to routine, to dignity, to the public sphere. When it goes, isolation sets in, disconnection. You drive farther, spend more, get less. You feel more alone, more stressed, less human. And the worst part, you start to believe it's your fault, that you didn't adapt fast enough, didn't save enough, didn't earn enough, because the companies sure aren't taking the blame. They say things like changing market dynamics and efficiency optimization while gutting your community from the inside. They call it strategy. You call it survival. The quiet class war at the checkout line. Let's be honest, retail has always reflected class, but never like this. Now, Even your shopping experience is determined by how much you earn. If you're wealthy, you get delivery, private in-store appointments, loyalty perks, clean parking lots, courteous service, human greeters, better returns. If you're not, you get locked up goods, empty shelves, long lines, and a sign taped to the register that says card only. In the same country, shopping can feel like luxury or punishment, and that divide is growing, normalizing, cementing itself into the infrastructure. Think about what it means when a 99-cent store becomes unsustainable, when $1.25 is considered cheap, when store employees are replaced with cameras that assume you're guilty. It means the system no longer wants to serve you. It wants to control you, discourage you, price you out. This isn't just retail collapse. This is retail revenge against poverty, against inconvenience, against need. And it's being done with a smile, a slogan, and a scan. It's easy to end this on a note of hope. And yes, hope is alive. People are forming bulk co-ops. They're coordinating ride shares to the last open Walmart. They're starting secondhand markets in church basements. They're teaching each other how to use digital discounts. They're printing flyers, speaking at town halls, organizing food drives, and refusing to be erased. But here's the truth. They shouldn't have to. The richest country in the world shouldn't require its poorest citizens to create shadow economies just to buy soap. The fifth largest global economy, California, shouldn't have cities where you can't find a grocery store within 5 miles unless you have a car. Elders shouldn't have to ask their grandkids to help them buy toilet paper online. This isn't resilience. This is desperation. And while these grassroots efforts are heroic, they are not a substitute for justice. What's needed is corporate accountability, public investment, accessible infrastructure, retail models designed around service, not extraction. What's needed is for someone in power to say, "You matter, and we will design with you in mind." Because if we keep outsourcing dignity to charity, we'll never fix the system that broke it in the first place. There's one more consequence we haven't talked about. When the average American stops being able to shop, they stop being seen. Retail is one of the last places where poor and working-class people are visible in public life, where they move through space with purpose, where they're not treated like burdens but participants. When they're priced out of that experience, they disappear, and a society that cannot see its working class is a society on the brink. Because what happens when the people who stock your shelves, drive your buses, clean your offices, teach your kids, and fix your roads can't afford shampoo where they live? If this continues unchecked, the consequences won't just be economic, they'll be generational. Children raised in retail deserts grow up disconnected from consumer confidence. They lose the instinct to compare prices, budget, save, plan ahead. Seniors left behind by digital-only platforms lose independence. Their needs go unmet. Their health suffers. Single parents burn out trying to piece together food, medicine, clothes, and gas from 5 different locations because the one-stop shop is gone. The economy doesn't collapse with a bang. It frays until the threads no longer hold. And what's left isn't a marketplace. It's a wasteland of corporate winners and human losers. We stop asking for coupons and start demanding equity. We stop pretending that tech is neutral. It's not. It amplifies who's already included and shuts out those who aren't. We demand human cashiers in every zip code. We demand fair pricing that doesn't punish the poor. We demand stores that accept cash, provide assistance, and treat people with basic decency. We demand that corporations stop chasing efficiency at the cost of humanity. And most of all, we remind them that people are not data points. That access is a right, not a luxury. Because if the only people who can shop with ease are the top 10%, then retail hasn't evolved. It's regressed, back into a system where only the privileged have choice, and everyone else just survives. You may not notice it happening. The app updates, the price hikes, the store closures, the longer bus rides, the reduced hours, the empty aisles, the closed dressing rooms, the locked deodorant. But it's happening, not in one big explosion, but in 1,000 small acts of exclusion. Retail was never just about shopping. It was about being seen. And if you're not careful, one day you'll realize You haven't been seen in a long time. And the people who built this economy, the ones who stocked the shelves, rang the registers, cleaned the floors, counted coins, clipped coupons, they've all been erased. Unless we fight, unless we speak, unless we organize. Because no one is coming to save the local store. The community has to save itself.